within air pollution epidemiology, we often the exposure to air quality is associated with the location where people live. Now obviously we're not at our homes at the moment, and we've travelled here on trains and various other ways, and people travel around generally. So the way in which we've tried to use big data to improve that is we now have a data set, again, that we got from Transport for London, who used it for transport planning, of where people spend their time, where they move around, how they, the transport mode that they use, when they use it, be it the tube or the bus, in the car, walking, cycling and so on. And combining that with a much more detailed model which does sort of 20-metre resolution spatially and 1 hour temporal resolution. So, you know, for each pollutant for each year, it's, you know, 70 billion records just for that. So you can see that these things are quite data intensive. And that's to avoid the potential pitfall of some of the epidemiological research in the past, which has exposure misclassification. So we're not classifying people's exposure properly, and then when you look at the health outcomes, are you really associating the two in a proper way? Now this obviously gives us quite a lot of scope for problems, and so I've noted down some of the problems that we have for big data concerns really, in our experience, quality was top of my list, and there's an avalanche of data that you can use, and the quality is absolutely essential. Now, if we wanted to, for example, our new sort of model where everyone moves around the urban area to be used by policymakers, we're going to have to convince policymakers that it's real and it's reflective of the population as a whole, and that creates massive problems, because how do we actually test whether this movement of people through the urban areas is really what they do? I mean, we've got some data, we've got the timings of trips and so on that we can test. We're using Oyster card data to actually do some evaluation. But there's a massive problem, and things like full-time GPS in smartphones would be one possible solution, where, you know, there's a GPS on your phone, you can leave it on all the time. Potentially using those with infrastructure, which would be another way of doing it. And also things like automatic number plate recognition data, where there's millions and millions of records, again all anonymized, but we know that some of the database attributes that are associated with it could be improved. And so there's a lot of things that we need to do there.